update. So Minuka say, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, or the strict warning about the man appointees. Now, he is actually done well within the first 11 months of his administration. But one thing I one narrative I especially on TV and on radio, say Mahama said he's one of the first presidents in the first 1 year on Shedanya scandal. Osha ex-president Kufuor and ex Jerry John Rawlings, a brought back so 1992 now. The first year Muna winning elections 1992. The next year 1993, in the 1 year pu ena ne scandal or first scandal. He obia no ye military ruler or transition or be a civilian president on Ukrainian scandal. Ye ba fast track to Kufuor within the first 1 year 2001 oba be mu no onusunya scandal. Ye ba eye Atamosunya scandal. Mahama previously also take it out on your scandal. Kufuor do obe twice on also first 1 year on your scandal. But nipa see our back the second thing. And how about for within 1 year on scandal no John Dramani Mahama. Now Mahama didn't seem be about to just say, woe besides any of my appointees who brings the first scandal to my administration, they will be hanged on the cross. So Mahama is saying himself, wouldn't not first scandal ban won't you ever point to say what they ba you be you sue as a scapegoat na omu be wiasia omu corruption na ombefa kwan foforo. Yenhwe video of what John Dramani Mahama said when he had a meeting with the Christian Council and that or this answer we air to jai babaka ebe to us.
We before I became president had indicated that we were going to take the fight against corruption to a whole new level. And it's not anything personal against anybody. I have said several times that our problem in the fight against corruption is that it is always post-regime corruption that we fight. And so when a government is in office, when scandals are taking place, they don't deal with them. And so they leave it until a new government comes. And when that government comes and starts investigating the cases of corruption, then the previous government says, oh, you are witch hunting us. This is political persecution. But I've said notice to my ministers, ask them every day in cabinet, I remind them. I say the prosecutions that we're taking against the current government will be tied the first person who brings a scandal to this government. We shall hang them on a cross. And you follow our Lord Jesus Christ, that you cannot resurrect again.
So that was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in Sema Odituja. Now quickly, you're moving on to Abena Osei Asare. Now Abena Osei Asare, she's been actually Ojini Dimpa or share a year recently in Sema Akwaso our public account committee. She's sparring with the DVLE boss, with other members, and then Wababe a beacon for fighting corruption. Meanwhile, she was the deputy of Ken Oforiatta. So she's basically a no person in regards to someone who is fighting corruption. But regardless, we raise a submission on Parliament and as on the floor of Parliament, which is actually going viral. Now in Semben and Odia Tuja, in Sema Odia Tuja ni simple. Pacha say yehu se galamse kanka. It was said Mahama administration ye create a mechanism you better fight galamse with all our resources. But man, a top priority. But the question is, this was a lady who was in power just 1 year ago, and 8 years for that matter. What did she do? You show video of somebody to our parliament and cover a baba.
Said it threatens our survival. So, Mr. Speaker, if something threatens your survival, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to fight it to make sure you survive. And how can you fight it when, with a ministry of 2.1 billion budget, you only give the agency to fight it 150 million Ghana cedis, Mr. Speaker? 150 million Ghana cedis out of the 2.1 billion budget given to the Ministry of Lands and Forestry. Mr. Speaker, when I compare it to the total budget, when you take out your compensation and you compare it to the total budget, 150 million, you compare it to the total budget, the contribution is 0.003%. 0.003%, Mr. Speaker. So how can you say that it goes beyond economics and it threatens our survival. If you put such an amount in there, are you telling Ghanaians that you are fighting it, or you are just putting out words and playing with Ghanaians? Mr. Speaker, like I said, the Galamsey issue also has to do with jobs. And so we were thinking that beyond that, government was going to put some monies into the alternative livelihoods so that you can take them off the Galamsey and find some jobs for them to do. Mr. Speaker, in this same budget, you look at the monies that were allocated to the alternative livelihoods, just 35 million Ghana cedis. Just 1% of the 2.1 billion Ghana cedis under Ministry of Lands and Forestry. Now, Mr. Speaker, we all know, the minister has also quoted, that this threatens our survival. Our major rivers are recording very high turbidity levels, and which is far above the WHO guidelines for safe drinking water. Our rivers are polluted and they are poisoned. Mr. Speaker, the media reports that there's rising stillbirths, there's increased cancer and chronic diseases, farmlands rendered sterile, and fish stocks shrinking and malformed. Mr. Speaker, and so if you say that it threatens our survival, I don't expect you to put 0.003% of the total budget into something that threatens your survival. Mr. Speaker, the Galamsey menace is a war. If it's a war, then this budget, Mr. Speaker, this budget is telling us that it's like we are in a battlefield with plastic chairs instead of armors to fight and make sure we win this. Because if you send 150, which is 7% of the total budget of the Ministry of Lands and Forestry, and 0.003%, then clearly it is not a matter of survival. It is just a matter of words. Words, fluffy words that don't have any meaning. But Mr. Speaker, we need to rise above that. This is hurting us. This is killing us. This is poisoning our food. And so we need to do something more than that. I expect that before we approve this budget and pass appropriation, the minister would have amended the monies given to fight Galamsey and also to improve on the alternative livelihoods of people who are wind of Galamsey. Yeah. That is when you can tell me that this is really threatening our survival, and so you're doing something about it. But Mr. Speaker, all said and done, I believe that we should have a Galamsey emergency program with real financing. Because even Mr. Speaker, let me quote one thing that President Mahama said on the 3rd of October 2025. He said that Ghana needs a substantially bigger budget than what is currently available if the country is to win the fight against illegal mining. This was on 3rd of October. The budget was taken to cabinet. President Mahama got the opportunity to view the budget, and he knew how much was going to be used to fight Galamsey. Because of what he said, that we need a substantially bigger budget, I was expecting that he advises the minister to put in more than he has put in the budget for Galamsey. So, Mr. Speaker, I am asking, I'm proposing, and I believe that it is the wish, it is the heart desire of our citizens out there that we come up with a Galamsey emergency program with real financing, so that, Mr. Speaker.
So that was a year, Madam Abina was sorry. Meanwhile, she was in power 1 year ago. Meanwhile, she was the former deputy finance minister. In fact, Kenneth Furata and the deputy Onini. At the point in time, Kenneth Furata or yet both the finance minister or yet both a year. Your friend is saying the trade minister Abra Lanchamantin resign. The deputy ni when to me allocate ska. I'm fighting Galamsey. Trash. Anyways, you better to also with a year in